It is a 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it is Wednesday, the 30th of April, AD 2025, and we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show, unlike my shirt, which is not as loosey-goosey as I could stand to have it being. I think I should move on up to larges. I don't care what my graduate says that much. Even though, whatever. Anyway, it is, I will be taking your calls if you'd like to call in. What's up, Rumble crew? Nice to see you. Believe I'm live there. What's up, Punchy.tv viewers? What is up, YouTube, of course? YouTube, of course. Mr. Pink says Trump is having a cabinet meeting. Wow, is he now? Crazy. Cool. He's saying, go to it live. You know, I don't know. Maybe I will. Those things are always interesting because Trump is an interesting person, especially off the cuff. Especially off the cuff. He's not one of those phony, lame-o politicians, you know? Earlier on the JLP show, we talked about inferior versus superior, and some people want to get on air about that. I will be taking your calls, and I did see some super chats did come in. That's cool. I will get to you. Thank you, Gregatron, for that. He bought me a coffee about exercise. Makes you strong. Well, rest after the exercise makes you strong. Nice. So, you know, what are some of the things going awry in the world? Wouldn't you like to know? Or would you prefer not to know? Let's get ready to get started over here, guys. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Let's see here. Bring, bring. Oh, come on. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Duh. Boomer Hake. We're going to get ready here. Oh man, this is loud. These are my beach streams that I'm showing you guys. And I talk in them. And I don't lower the volume. I don't always talk in them. But this is a beautiful San Onofre. San O. Where the waves are easy. And the views are kind of nice. Let me give you a sneak peek at well, let me just mention something that I did notice. And that was there's all these lawsuits trying to stop Trump from, shrinking the government down because the government is bloated, overbloated, evil, doing nothing good. And by and large, of course. And so that's going on. Also in the news, it's spring, I guess, for people are feeling the spring or seeing the spring. Trump had a little rally, 100 days. Commie Nonsense is trying to say that he is lying, but they're liars. And he's really not a liar. Trump versus anti-Trump. That's the big mess in the world at large, at least on the surface, of course. More deeply, it's people got issues. False idols. It's a terrible shame. that misdirect their priorities. There's this lame Republican Vermont governor who wants a pathway to citizenship. He sounds like me when I was like 25 or maybe a little bit older, I'm not sure, maybe a little younger. I was on MySpace, so I would have been, I don't know, was I 25 when MySpace was around? Because I remember being on MySpace talking to an illegal who got deported. My illegal goalkeeper got deported. He shoved a cop who was in his house and dealing with his brother or something like that, and he shoved a cop. So he got deported. I'm looking at the view here in San Onofre, and I was like, oh, they should make it easier for these people you guys to come here legally. Because I didn't really think that deeply about it. And I was being, emotional. This is my friend. But, after a while, it's like a matter of right and wrong. Is it right the illegals come here? No. Is it wrong to deport them? No, it's right. And, Trump is working with the people on the auto tariffs. The companies on the auto tariffs, the American companies, that is. So he's helping to make it happen. So I'm going to get right to your calls here, guys, and I have perhaps some things to play for you. But anyway, everybody, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. How you like my shirt? Do you like it? What you think? It is the Hake Report La 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 t-shirt. And this is the 100% cotton, nice one. Let me, briefly, WWJD. What would Jesus do? Jesus wouldn't sell stuff, say the communist fake Christians. Yes, he would. Jesus would start hake.printify.me and look for this t-shirt. It is the Comfort Colors 1717. And as others have suggested, it may run small. It may run just a touch snug. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just getting, like has been the meme, fatter, not fitter. Somebody wants a t-shirt. And this is mustard, the t-shirt color that I got. And so get yours. Hake.printify.me or go to thehakereport.com and look over there. And if you look over, it's Comfort Colors Unisex, which means gals and guys can wear it. Garment dyed t-shirt. For those who love comfort and style. Well, this would be a little bit more comfortable if it weren't quite so snug here on the shoulders, because it's like, my shoulders are too broad. Believe it or not, Hake's shoulders are actually too broad for a medium, for my taste anyway. 100% ring-spun cotton, a soft, relaxed fit, perfect for everyday wear, blah, 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 blah. You guys don't care. Let me get to some calls here. William in California is on the line. William, thank you for calling. Pardon me. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing fine. Thank you.
First 100 days, what do you think?
I'm surprised how active he is. This is a new Trump, a new term. And
me too.
And,
yeah.
It's not just him, it's his whole team. And I don't
Mhm.
I don't totally like his team because, you know, I'm just as nature and nature's God is, I am what liberals call sexist, which means I'm realistic about these gals. But still,
Yeah,
I
well, yeah,
appreciate it.
he picked them, so we don't need to worry about him too much. He'll handle them.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, it's good. It's pretty good because we got a new plant coming. We got a bunch of new plants coming in Tennessee, Kentucky, Detroit, and Chicago. Ford is opening up new plants, and Hyundai has moved here. And as you know, they're not car builders; they're ship builders. And they went to Louisiana, so there's another couple of thousand jobs there. And then the fact that he's taking off of the meat with these different programs that don't mean anything, that's saving a lot of money too.
Big time.
And they were expecting to take a couple of bumps with the stock market. It's back up 40 points, the Dow. But,
nice.
I mean, in overall, there's a long game. There's a long game, and he's the number one troller, Trump.
That's what Jeff in Louisiana said. Did you hear Jeff mention that? He's the number one troller.
He is.
Yeah.
He is, because he's got a long game and he's thinking. And there's a lot of tariffs are working too, by the way, because they tighten up on people like Canada and Mexico and Europe and everybody else, and it's just better for the American people. A lot of jobs come back. So the tariffs are working. The people that say that they're not working pretty much don't know anything about tariffs. That's probably
fair. Yeah. I mean, they only know they only know what the liberal media tells them. Yeah.
Well, I'm not being malice when I say that.
Of course.
That's really the truth.
No, yeah, it is.
Either you're independent and don't understand what that is, or you don't understand what tariffs are, and they do bring the products and jobs out of here. As for Tony yesterday, that was very entertaining. If you're into trucking, you would know that there are several regulations and speed enforcements in the state of California for independent truckers. And the real big one with the truckers is when they made the owner-operators employees. That put a big dent in their profits.
Was that over Uber drivers?
And the next to operate a truck in California.
Was that the supposed protecting Uber drivers or something like that?
All of that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that was evil. It messed up the truckers.
Protecting
the Uber
as far
drivers.
as Canada and Mexico, you had a caller say something about that he doesn't want to see us go to war with them. That never happened because we protect Mexico and Canada, and nobody can do anything around that area because of us, and we don't even have bases up there.
Yeah.
And even in the north, where Russia is close to Alaska and all that, it's being guarded under the ice. There's plenty of warheads up there. So Canada has nothing to worry about. We definitely ain't going to let China set up shop in Mexico, or either one of them. And I don't really think the president, this is the trolling part, I don't really think he wants Canada to be a 51st state, other than maybe more than likely annexing Canada. Like, what was that? In the Caribbean, we have what? Puerto Rico or Dominican? Which one?
Puerto Rico.
Which one do we have? Okay.
Puerto Rico.
Do we really want them as a state? We don't really want them for a state.
No, that's true. I know. I was thinking about that. We should make them a territory.
America Samoa,
yeah,
a territory of the United States. We don't want them to be a state either. They're just annexed. And that's probably what he's talking about with Canada.
And I doubt that it's even that. I think he may just be shaking up their thinking, opening up their mind, giving them a little reality check, because they need to become truly independent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than leeching. They're leeches.
Did you know this? Did you know this, James? Most of those states we're talking about, whichever one is Puerto Rico, you said?
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
Okay, so Puerto Rico, Samoa, we don't want them as states because most of them are welfare states.
Yeah.
And socialists. So we don't really want them.
Right.
But they're annexed. Greenland, he wants to probably annex that. But no, we run this.
Yeah.
That's all it is to it. Whatever we do, everybody else has to follow it. So his bigger plan that's later down the line looks good. There's going to be a few bumps with the stock market, but they say some of it is actually recovering now.
Yeah, a lot of that is worth it. Like you have to go through that. It's unavoidable, and it's better now than later. I have a caller. I have a caller who is a Trump critic, Trump detractor, and
no, I don't need to hear that.
You don't want to. How about this though? How about this? It's one of the good ones. He's a reasonable guy. I don't want to force you.
Okay.
Ronnie in Ohio, would you like to talk with him?
No, I don't want to. I want to get it. It takes up too much time, and it's not going to mean anything.
But it's my show. It's my time. If you don't mind, but if you don't want to, that's fine. All right. I don't really no problem.
So let other callers have a chance to speak too. But the tariffs are working. They're bringing the jobs back. They can't deny it. The Department of Education probably gets shut down. We're just going to get ready to try to save a lot of money here.
Yeah.
The buildings and skyscrapers are getting refilled and remodeled. Transamerica Pyramid in San Francisco has been remodeled. When everything gets going, people are going back into the offices, and the economy is going to grow. And yes, it probably will take about 6 to 8 months.
Nice. It's good.
And, wait a minute. Before I get off, Elon Musk is absolutely not a welfare recipient. You cannot compare a corporation that creates hundreds of thousands of jobs, whether you like the product or not.
Yeah.
Whether the stock goes up or down, you cannot compare that to getting welfare. That's not true.
Yeah.
And
that's fair.
He has a $100 billion defense contract coming.
Really?
Tesla actually is one of his smaller companies.
He gives welfare, honestly. Wait a minute. Wait, let me stop you there. Elon Musk gives welfare. He gave welfare internet to disaster victims, war
people that
victims.
Don't even pay for it.
The Ukraine, exactly, free internet from his Starlink.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Starlink is partially government funded, but he is a do-gooder with all his money.
All I'm saying is that you can't compare a defense contract for the Space Force for $100 billion.
Yeah.
You can't compare that to the you can't.
Well, you can because May's is going to do it.
No,
it may be illogical. It may be illogical, but she's going to try to do it. And you can't tell her what to do.
No, I'm not talking about her.
Oh, okay.
That's stupid anyway.
Shout out.
The thing is that is very stupid to think that is the same thing as welfare. It's
nice.
Not. It's not even on a level of subsidy either. It's a defense contract, and to have that, you have to have some serious capital.
And you have to do something with it, not just be a bump on a log.
He's been around for a long time. You know, he was in California for a long time with those computers, and I'm not mad at the man. I used to work for Tesla for a minute. I don't like the car, but I can't knock his stockholders and owners. I can't. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. Anything other than that, I think Trump is doing a good job.
Nice. I appreciate it, William. Great call.
All right.
Take care. Bye. And Ronnie in Ohio, the spurned Ronnie in Ohio. Is spurned the right word? What's up, Ronnie? Thank you for calling and holding. What's up? How you doing?
My brother Hake. I'm good. How you doing today?
Doing fine, sir. My brother.
Brother. You said it right. You usually say it right when you're just chilling, when you're sitting with the correct posture.
I know. How do you rate what's going on in the world? A mess?
In the world is definitely a mess.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep.
Other than immigration, what grade do you give Trump? Other than immigration, where do you give Trump any A's or A pluses?
I give him an A on his spirit. As you know, I've mentioned this before, his unbreakable spirit. And that's not a policy thing, but that is bigger than any of the policies, in my opinion. Now, he can have some policies that I disagree with or put in some people I disagree with. Now, the downsizing of the government that he's trying to do with some interruptions, bumps in the road in the courts and things, I really support that. I hadn't thought of it, but it's one of those things that's been staring us in the face. The welfare spending, if you will, the social spending, and the government employees and government liberal agenda, by and large, no matter who's president, has been a big burden on America, and he's seeking to throw off the shackles of liberalism forced down our throats by our taxpayer money in the government. So I like that. How about you? Are you there? Okay.
Immigration is probably the only area where I could give him a A
Cool.
or an A minus.
Do you agree with the notion of downsizing the government?
Whatever it takes to get the budget balanced.
Oh, okay.
I'm for that as long as the trade-off makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think firing a few people here and there
By a few, you mean tens
for the deficit or hold on. I don't think firing a few people here and there did anything for the deficit or the national debt.
How about tens of thousands?
So while it might seem like a small victory,
yeah,
it didn't yield any real results.
Oh, okay. Well, give it time. We may be. He's eliminating whole departments, hopefully.
Again, if it doesn't do anything for the deficit or the debt, then it doesn't matter.
What about the evil that they're doing? He's stopping some of the evil that they're doing. It's not just about the money. It is about the money, but it's not just about the money.
Like what, for an example?
You know, they're pushing the gay agenda in the government and the transgender agenda in the government. For us, just a small example, I don't know how small or big it is, but he's cutting some of that stuff out. And I think that that's a positive thing, no matter how much or little money is being spent on it. On principle, that's right to do.
Correct, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. But again, if it doesn't do anything for the deficit or the debt, it's meaningless. It would be like somebody who's spending out of control with their budget, being like, "Hey, I canceled my Netflix membership."
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, that's a good thing, but
right.
You know, if it doesn't help balance your budget,
when you're
you shouldn't
blowing
be
thousands.
bragging about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it doesn't, so then you can't just keep. If somebody's like, "Hey, your budget's out of control," to just rest on, "Hey, I canceled my Netflix."
Yeah.
And just repeat that over and over.
Well, the good thing I can tell you is that they are going. They seem like they're trying to be quite thorough throughout all of the departments. So, and it's like tens or maybe even hundreds of thousands of government jobs and grants and contracts and things like that, as well as like whole departments, like the Department of Education. They may disband that. They may reassign what FEMA is and does and maybe get rid of it and reassign some of those people and give it to the states, the responsibility to the states, which I think is a good thing, because when everybody's looking to the federal government for to save them, they're less responsible for their own stuff.
Does that apply to lobbyists, and does that apply to people who live off to corporations and people who live off of government loans?
Yeah, I think so. I think it applies.
And government investments.
Yeah, I mean, I think it applies across the board. Take, for example, this LA wildfire thing. You know, we live in a civilized country. It's relatively functioning, well-run, we think. Nothing really happens too crazy for the most part. You get comfortable, and you start to coast, and you let yourself go, you being, say, the people who are running and maintaining Los Angeles, the area. And so you let the wild brush grow a bit. You don't keep the water ready. You don't stand ready when there's a wildfire risk because you're like, it'll be fine. And then it goes out of control and burns up a bunch of houses. That's like a spirit of triflingness that has oppressed many, many, many people in America, including from the government, many of the corporations, because we're fat and spoiled and sassy and lame and weak.
Speak for yourself. But no, I see the point that you're trying to make.
Yeah.
Those types of people definitely exist.
Yeah.
And they just don't have a can-do attitude, and it's unfortunate.
Right. And then they're like, oh, save us, government. And the government is all too eager to swoop in because then the government feels important. And then the government also has more sway over what you get to do with the money that they spend. So it's a whole lot of ego and power and money. And it's basically you get rewarded for doing wrong. It's terrible.
Terrible. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. So the reason that I called, and I'll be brief with that question, and I also wanted to pose it to William, and I wanted to pose it to Mark. Hopefully Mark can call in and weigh in on the inferior versus superior part.
Yeah. Because on the JLP show, we talked about how blacks see themselves as inferior to whites, and so they're jealous of the whites and or envious is probably the proper word. But jealous is the same thing nowadays in the vernacular. And so they're doing the DEI and crying racism and stuff, crying white supremacy. So that question about, are the whites currently like superior to the blacks by and large? That question?
Yeah, and I wanted to even kind of be specific the way that Jesse was phrasing it, where he said, do you agree that whites are superior and blacks are inferior?
You asking me?
I disagree with it, but yeah, I'm asking you that. Do you agree with that statement that white people are superior and black people are inferior?
In many ways, yes.
Okay. And I wanted to pose that same question to William. Unfortunately, he didn't want to discuss, and that's cool. More power to him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can still respond to it at some point. And I can wait for that response.
What do you say to it?
Hopefully Mark can call in and Mark can explain what he thinks. What I say to it is race doesn't determine whether or not somebody is superior or inferior.
Right, but that wasn't the question. Saying a yes or no doesn't mean that race is what determines that.
You might have to explain that, because when I hear the question, or when I hear the statement, white people are superior and black people are inferior,
yeah,
the question is separating those groups of people based on race.
Right, but it's not based on race. It's just looking at it's a correlation. It's a correlation.
Does correlation mean causation?
No, it doesn't. Correlation means whites generally safer neighborhoods, relatively, supposedly trying to be honest. And then the blacks generally fall for the racism lie and quick to believe that lie, quick to repeat, these false accusations and agree with the inferiority of affirmative action and diversity and stuff like that. Forced diversity, obviously. So in practice, just looking at the surface of things, that's what the surface of things is. And you're right, some people look at those surface of things and think, oh, that's because of the race and the genes and all that stuff. And they point to the different talents that the different groups have, by and large, more commonly. But that's not the issue. The issue is in people's minds. They develop a brainwashing of this racism thing and blame and victimhood, or hating and blaming and feeling and judging on the other side. So if you're thinking that you're superior, or if you're thinking you're inferior, you're wrong either way. The blacks are asking for the whites for equality. That puts them in an inferior mindset, inferiority mindset. You notice that? You're not like that, really, that I see. I've never seen you having this jealous, envious mindset, but I see a whole lot of them with that mindset. And a lot of the politicians who are like successful people, Obama, relative, like on a worldly sense, quite successful, but he panders to that inferior mindset. Oh, I got followed in a store, complaining.
So yes, I've noticed black people that fall into that category. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of too many.
And hold on, and from that same macro lens that you're using,
yeah,
I've noticed in present day and definitely historically that there are also white people that agree with the statement white people are superior and black people are inferior. But where they look at it is they look at it from an understanding of it's based on race.
Right, and they're just as confused, I think.
Hold on, but then what you'll do is that person's occupation wouldn't be store clerk or librarian. That person's job title would be sheriff or judge or senator. That's where you get issues because you have people in those positions of power making decisions and holding that power with the mindset of those people are inferior to me because I am white and they are black. I've seen that those people exist, and they existed in history. Do you see that also?
I suppose so, but sometimes they are right.
Suppose. Do you see that those people exist now, and that those people have also existed throughout the United States history?
I don't know, because what I see now is this kiss-up culture to the the inferiority people. Do you see that there's a kiss-up culture toward the inferiority people where the whites are, by and large, agreeing with the fake idea of racism and overly accommodating of black people, even when they're wrong?
Hold on, say that question again.
Do you see that there's a culture among the whites and among all races of kissing up to the fake idea that the blacks are these victims of racism, and so we need to accommodate them and go to the opposite extreme?
I do see the existence of white people in America who know that there were white people that existed that were sheriffs and judges and senators that held that racist superior idea, and they might have what you call white guilt. They might have that
overcompensating for the historical propaganda that you're spouting.
That little part might be a little bit different. What I'm saying is, I see that those people exist. Where they
are you acknowledging that they're overcompensating? Well, you said white guilt, so I guess you agree.
Yeah,
you just want to put it in.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you would categorize them. That Mark from Los Angeles might say white hater, or self-white hater or something like that. Those categories, I see those people that exist. I do know that they exist.
Like it's the predominant culture among the whites.
I would not say that that's true.
It's the predominant culture among the politicians.
I would not say that that's true either.
Really? Okay. Now,
you said predominant?
Yeah.
No, I think there might be a handful that far right-wing media focuses on, where you got 5 or 10 specific people in the House of Representatives. It's over 200 Democrats, I think, that are in the House of Representatives. And the right-wing media
including most
focuses on like the same 4 or 5.
I'm including most of the Republicans and the Democrats among all the whites and lay people. Normal people have this impulsive, don't want to look racist thing. You saw it in Bill Lockwood, kind of, shout out. Now,
yes, I would say that there are a lot of people who aren't being genuine when they speak on it. You can see that they're trying to be politically correct. They try to use the correct terms and the correct phrases. I agree that those people exist.
It
Where they're scared to get canceled. They're scared to say the wrong thing, so they're very particular in what they say.
No, I mean, they're brainwashed. They're not even trying to be dishonest. They're just brainwashed. They just don't see. I think that it reminds me, did you hear Jesse's call with that man with the autistic brother? The mother of this autistic son and regular son, well, whatever this son is, who called into JLP. According to this young man who called JLP, his mother let the diagnosed autistic brother hit him and cuss at him. And that is like what America is doing with black people, letting the black people hit and cuss at white people and saying the white people have to take it.
I don't see that as being widespread or a majority of issues.
But that's true, right?
I won't deny
true?
that I'm not saying it. Hold on. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I don't think it's as widespread as, you're not looking at that through the same lens as looking at everything else. You're very zoomed in on that and then trying to make a generalized statement about a group of people based on their skin color.
Well, I'm not making a statement based on their skin color. I'm basing it on how people act toward blacks. When blacks are angry, there's this coddling of the black anger. Angry, and they're misdirected at the whites, right? Pretend that this racism thing is real. And meanwhile, when a white is angry, they're called wrong, and they are wrong. But when a black is angry, they're coddled and called right when they're not right.
I have not seen that.
Oh, man, I see it regularly in my personal life, among friends, classmates, teachers, pretty much my whole life. I mean, look at Al Sharpton. There is no white Al Sharpton who's on the level of Al Sharpton in terms of being propped up by the mainstream media, by the politicians and all that. And now there's like many thousands of little Al Sharptons and worse. And
there are many.
And
there
Allison,
are many. Hold on.
And Allison
Hey.
Sharptons.
You
Sharptonesses.
said there are many thousands of Al Sharptons.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, look at all of them all over the media. They get into the local media. All these Black Lives Matter gals. All this minister Dominique Alexander. They're popping up everywhere like pimples. Like pimples on an adolescent who doesn't wash his face but eats chocolate and doesn't shower. Shout out.
Yeah. I'll leave you on that one.
Now, I have a question because I would be remiss if I failed to ask you, what if all the whites went away some way? How do you think society would fare? It's a total theoretical, but, humor me with your imagination a touch. How would it go? Because this is a question that Alex from California asked, and I thought it was a nice little thought experiment.
Okay, so what's the question again, just so that I'm clear on it?
If the whites went away by whatever means, how would the non-whites run America? How would it go? How would America go? Would it do better? Would it do worse? Would it turn into a ghetto? Would it be set fire? Would chaos ensue? What?
I've never heard this question. This is an interesting question.
Yeah.
And even more interesting is the inverse of that question on what if every non-white person just left America.
Yeah.
So my question to him, my clarifying question to him would be, where are the resources going to be? Because throughout world history, anytime a people were left alone and they were able to make the most of their own natural resources, they were pretty successful. And then if they could have protected trade with other nations, then they were even more successful. So I think if white people left and the resources still stayed here, I think things would be okay. And I think if all non-white people left. It would be interesting to see white people keep it going.
So you have no doubt that the non-whites could keep it going with them being treated fairly by the rest of the world and, being able to keep their resources. But you have doubts whether the whites could keep it going without the non-whites.
That's correct.
Nice. Interesting. And I get what you mean, because the whites are not the same whites as the whites of the past. So I acknowledge that point. We're not making enough babies to keep it going, but maybe we would there would be less birth control propaganda stuff in the world, and less of that sexual music, because there's all this sexual music coming from the non-whites, and I don't know, it doesn't seem good for families and society.
So I would ask. So I think when people talk about black-made music and musicians and how they say rap music is degenerate and this, that, and the third.
Yeah, and the POC and the Latin music too. Go ahead.
I would ask them to look at who owns the rights to those record companies, to those distribution companies. I would ask them who owns that stuff.
I would disavow that question.
And then I would ask them, are they going to put the blame on the worker, or are they going to put the blame on the manager, the general manager, the owner, the CEO, this, that, and the third?
You got to blame them all except for the Jews. We never blame the Jews.
I'm not even talking about, I'm not separating them based on religion or race. I'm talking about.
Are you one of those blame the dealer, not the user people?
Am I one of the blame the dealer, not the user?
Are addicts victims or perpetrators?
There's a third element to that people don't look at.
What's that?
That's the problem.
What is that? Is a third element meaning more than just a victim or a perpetrator, or a third element beyond user and dealer? You mean the law enforcement allows it to happen, or what do you mean?
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that the drug dealer who's got the crack or the heroin or whatever it is that's killing people, he didn't manufacture and grow that in his backyard. He doesn't have there's no poppy fields here.
Right. It was fed to us by way of Mexico and China.
It got there somehow.
And
the guns that the teenagers are running around with that are shooting each other, and they don't have a father at home. The gun didn't just pop up in their house out of nowhere.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying. There's always who are we going to blame, this person or that person? It's like, well, are these all of the possible transgressors? And it's like, no, there are definitely more parties involved, because it's not like the guns are just stolen out of Walmart all the time and then they just pop up, or the drugs are just growing out of the ground. That's not what's happening. Yeah, we deal with that. We deal with everybody where each is wrong. Right. And I think that's how God did it. Not everybody's being held accountable. That's how God did it. God held Eve responsible for what Eve did, Adam for what Adam did, and the serpent for what the serpent did. That's a fact. Nice. So to answer the question, the POCs would do just fine, but the whites, you don't know. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate it, man. Yes, sir. Good talking with you. I appreciate you taking my call, brother. Have a good weekend. You as well. It is Wednesday. It's midweek. And we may hear from him again before the week is over. But have a good weekend regardless. Mark in Los Angeles, California, on the line here. And then I will get to your super chats and the rest of the calls. What's up, Mark?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to get on with Ronnie. You should have put me on with him.
Oh, my bad.
He wanted to talk. He did.
Oh, true.
That's okay.
Yeah, he totally would have.
First of all, in regards to the question of what would happen if white people didn't exist in this country, it's simple. All you got to do is look at Haiti. Those devils killed every white man, woman, and child on the island. And look how God has cursed them. Okay, so we know what would happen if there were no whites.
I mean, South Africa has seemingly like all the resources in the world. All the countries sort of pander to them. And South Africa is being run into the ground by those black communists.
I know. Well, Haiti was once called the jewel of the Caribbean.
Wow.
I don't know about their natural resources, but it was one of the most beautiful paradises on earth when the French ruled it. But when they brought slaves over, the slaves turned into the monsters that they always were, and they killed every white man, woman, and child on the island. I can't express that loud enough.
Yeah, I mean
we know what would happen if whites just disappeared.
Yeah.
Civilization would collapse. We see it in all of our big cities that were once proud cities.
True.
Cleveland, Ohio, for example, was a once proud city. Look at it today; it's crumbling.
What a shame.
Tennessee. Yeah, all these.
Memphis? Did you say Memphis, Tennessee?
Yes, bad place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough over there. Shout out to the Memphis boys.
Which Memphis boys?
Derek, the producer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, but you're fine. It's fine. He knows
sure.
it. He knows the truth, but he's one of the good ones.
Yeah. The problem is when whites leave and that vacuum is filled with the average Negroes, it will collapse. We have the Reconstruction to look at. When Negroes took over the South after the Civil War. We saw what happened. We know what happens when the black political machine takes over. I hope you're listening, Ronnie. He had a question for me. Do you remember what it was? But I don't remember what it was. But
he's had many questions for you, and I don't remember what it was. He has asked about the War of 18 months ago. He asked about the War of 1812, I think.
Yeah, no. In regards to what Trump has accomplished besides immigration, the tariffs are working. I mean, he's only been 100 days, but the tariffs are working. His executive orders that haven't been defied by a communist judge have stated that men are men, women are women. He's eliminated, or at least is trying to eliminate DEI.
Yeah.
So he's had a lot of victories. He would have a lot more deportations if it wasn't for these white-hating judges that are ruling against him unconstitutionally.
Right.
Now, after I spoke to you yesterday, I saw a news item where a commie judge in New York has stopped the installation of ICE office at Rikers jail. So they can just deport these illegals that are taking up space in jail and send them home. Even though Mayor Adams, who I don't like, made the agreement with the Trump administration to allow for an ICE office in the Rikers jail, a judge out of nowhere, her name's, I forget her name.
Some woman.
It's a woman, of course, ruled against it. She has no standing. She should be ignored, just like the other judges. I know I've said this before, but there's really nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
They can call a constitutional crisis, but they can't stop these deportations. Nobody's coming back either. Trump will not bring back a deported illegal. And he said it today. He said, I could bring Garcia back, the MS-13 or whatever he is.
Yeah.
Trump said I could bring him back. I'm not going to. And to me, those are words of beauty.
Yeah.
I don't know which Supreme Court judge told him to bring these criminals back. I can't repeat it on air, but I would have some choice words for those judges.
Yeah.
The judges are standing in the way of the American voter.
Totally.
It's as simple as that.
And in the way of the law. The law says illegals are not supposed to be here. Duh. So we get them out of here. It's ridiculous.
Their game plan now is to say they all have to have hearings.
Yeah.
Which would take 300 years
to
go through 20 million
They don't need a hearing. Mary Rosado, I guess, is the Manhattan Supreme Court judge.
Yeah, she's 75. There's a law in New York,
nice
when you turn 70, you have to retire. And yet she's breaking the law, right? That's a basic law that she's breaking. besides the illegal ruling? Why doesn't she want ICE in Rikers jail? What I'd like somebody to answer that. Well, if there are any liberals in your audience, I'd like to have somebody tell me why do the liberal commie judges want to keep illegals here? I can give you the answer. Most liberals are dishonest. I don't know what they'll say, but the honest answer is they want their votes.
Yeah,
that's the only reason they're here. That's the only reason these judges
to use them to change the culture for the worse, because the good culture, the good Christian independent culture, cannot be controlled and used for power, whereas these lazy, trifling, evil, lame-o, messed up mindset politicians and judges they want to use the people.
Did you hear Susan Rice the other day?
No, haven't heard from her in a while.
Well, she got fired from the DOD.
Oh, she was in the Department of Defense?
That's what it said. Maybe she was something. I thought it said DOD. So don't hold me to that. I don't want to split a hair with some clown that's going to call me.
I know.
Okay. But what she said was this on TV after she was fired. She said, unless you are a white, cis male person, Trump doesn't want you in government.
That's funny.
I mean, what she was actually
I wish that were
saying,
true.
yeah, what she was really saying is, I hate white men. In an indirect way, that's really what she was saying. And you should have seen the look on that ugly mug of hers. And don't forget,
I think
she was one of the puppeteers.
Mildly
she was one of the, her and Obama were pulling the strings on Obama when 20 million illegals came in. Other thing, and I don't want to keep changing subjects, but I just want to get this out so I don't forget. I don't consider myself a small government conservative. I think if we had a righteous government that looked out for the interests of the white majority and Christian people, I would love that government. So I am not a small government guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm only against this government because it's full of race mixers, white haters, and I don't mean Trump. I don't mean Trump.
Right.
I'm talking about the bureaucracy and the deep state. Their intentions are to eradicate us. But if we had a pro-white, pro-Christian government, would you be for big government?
Trump dismissed at least. I don't think I would necessarily be for big government because it tends
pro-white.
Even if it's pro-white, because it tends to be unnecessary. It tends to waste money, and then people, because there's always going to be evil, whether it's all whites or diverse. Even with the all whites, it's going to tend towards evil, and you don't want the government. You don't want to give evil power like that, especially where you can't confront them. You want local control, is a point that Bill Lockwood has said, and I tend to agree with local control. You can't even hardly confront the. Look at how difficult it is, but you can do it, but it's very difficult, and it doesn't do them any good to confront the L.A. or local Santa Monica, Beverly Hills leadership. Like, you can barely confront them. You can't.
You're talking about as a citizen.
Yeah, as a citizen, you can't even petition for change in our city, much less the federal government.
Well, but wouldn't you say if you had a pro-white government who was going to look out for our interests, that on overall, the whole way, it would be good? Because we're the ones that built the country. We're the ones that wrote the Constitution.
It would be better for everybody. Yep, it would be good.
Yep. Well, the white haters wouldn't like it.
They wouldn't like it, but they would be better off, which is funny.
They had, yes. One last thing, and I'll let you go, Hake, because I don't want to keep changing around. They had on one of your competitors' shows, they had a thing where they interviewed a few black people from America who moved to Africa because they hate whitey. And every one of them wanted to come back. They hated their native homeland, and they want to. They had them. I mean, your competitor had their videos talking about, we hate Africa. We want to come back to America. The racism in America isn't as bad as what it is here.
Yeah.
I think this one black guy was in Ghana, and Ghana's a hellhole.
Yeah.
White people aren't allowed to vote in Ghana, for the record. And he's a black guy. This person was talking. He was saying how miserable life is there.
course.
So, they're never going to go back to their homeland. The problem is they're going to destroy us like they did in Haiti. And I wish I could have said these words to Ronnie in Ohio. I would like to have had a talk with him. Next time he calls, if you would, I'm willing to go with him. He seems like he could be reasonable.
Yeah, although he might frustrate you because he's because you heard his answers.
But what's he going to say if I tell him blacks score 10 to 15 IQ points lower than whites? How can he refute that? What's he going to lie? I mean, him or anybody. I'm just using him as an example. But anybody, is he going to defend the black crime rate? Blacks kill more than whites, Asian, and Hispanics combined in this country? FBI stat. I mean, what's his answer to these? Him or any other? I don't know if he's a black nationalist or how he would describe himself. But I don't know how any black person could defend this. And honestly, if I were black, I'd be ashamed of what my people were doing. And nice. I know there are black people who are ashamed, like Jesse and maybe William and a few others.
I don't think JLP is ashamed of them because he doesn't identify with that mess.
Well, I know that, but he's a rare breed. But I'm talking about the average black who doesn't have a show or anything. They read the paper. They see the crime.
Some of them know, I talk with the Hispanic gals and things, and they acknowledge that when it's blacks, I grew up in Inglewood. When it's blacks and Hispanics, we make a mess. Well, and this is like a liberal woman I'm talking to, but she knows.
I don't know.
They know.
I don't know if it was on your show or another show talking about white flight and white people who just want to get away, like the Scott Adams philosophy of stay away from them. I don't know if this was your show or another. A white guy called in and he said he moved someplace into West Texas, and it was a nearly all Mexican Hispanic town, but they don't want the blacks there either, and they don't bother. The guy who called said he had no problem with the Mexicans, but the good news was they kept blacks out. So if you want to be left alone from them, that's an option. It wouldn't be my option, but people are thinking of ways to protect themselves. Was that on your show?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it may not.
It doesn't ring a bell, but it could be.
Yeah. Okay, Hake, that's all I got. I hope some of the black callers call in and tell you what they think would happen if the white man just disappeared.
Well, I especially wanted to hear from Ronnie, so I'm glad I got him on record for how he's currently thinking about the topic.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, he said the country would fail if the non-whites left. But if the POC stayed and we left, everything would be fine.
Yeah.
Did I hear that right?
Pretty much. That's what he said.
Well, what proof would he have of that? Ask him to name one black civilization in the history of the world. Arnold Toynbee, the world's greatest historian, has stated there has never been a black civilization on record anywhere in world history. And I don't want to hear Zulu Nation. They're just a tribe of savages. I've had black people tell me, well, the Zulus were a nation, but that's not really true. I mean, you could call them
And
that.
Shout out to the Zulus. They did well for what they were, I think, maybe, perhaps.
Well, they were bloodthirsty.
Well, sometimes you have to be.
Well, they killed a lot of British soldiers.
Oh. Self-defense?
So they weren't all that great. I mean, they were a nation. They called themselves. But I wouldn't compare it to any nation in the first world. I don't even know if it's a legitimate third world nation.
Interesting.
Anyway, hey,
thank you, man.
Talking to you.
All right.
God bless. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Wow. Okay, we're at the top of the hour. Hang tight, guys and gals. One line open. I got to get to the super chats. Gregatron states, I hope that I can scroll. I told you about the barbell months ago, maybe a year ago, says Gregatron. I don't even remember this, Gregatron. Barbell curls. The barbell is where it's a whole bar, right? I'm standing up a bit. And you can do curls. And he says, make sure to squeeze at the top. They'll get your biceps right. I'm having trouble with the trackpad just a bit. Sometimes happens. I'll try not to complain about it too much. You don't even need to add weight. Whenever you curl, squeeze it at the top. I don't want to show off my biceps right now. Do just one set to failure. So you don't have to add weights. That makes sense because then I'd be basically if I'm using both hands, it's 45-pound barbell, right? So that's 22.5 pounds. I could do like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have to add weight. You're right. Unless it's like a barbell that's 20 pounds instead of 45. Whenever you do this exercise, try to do more reps than you did last time. It works for me, says Gregatron, who looks like a monster superhero black dude. If you want to, he looks like Bruce Lee. He's almost as big as Bruce Lee, okay? In terms of his physique. Maybe even bigger, actually. But you know how Bruce Lee went like this? He put out his arms and flexed his armpits or whatever. And the V shape of his back was like his wings. I almost said a bad word, kids. Not that bad, but kind of bad. Iffy. If you wanted some workout advice, you could have just hollered at your boy, says Gregatron. Thanks, man. That's cool. I appreciate that. I remember I bought a car one time, a used car. And my friend's friend, or my friend's cousin, said, call me next time. And I feel the same way. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And Little Rock, yesterday got this coffee saying, forget Target. He didn't say forget. Thumbs down and awkward, strange thumb up. They don't care about black people, capital B, to kiss up to the blacks, make them feel special. Just like you. Yeah, if you care about black people, you're a liberal lame-o. It's not good for you. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them to care about them. Unless it's godly caring. They say, cast all your cares upon the Lord because he cares for you. Something like that. I may be misstating it. And I'm going to complain a little bit about this maybe my fingers are greasy or something. I ate those 2 for $1 Jack in the Box tacos. But I washed my hands. Guys. Don't get crazy, Joel Friday coming in next. He's going to be like, why is the... Forget Target, blah, blah, blah. Man, oh man. I'm going to try not to complain. I'm shocked that you still think I'm a nicey nice guy. I didn't even call you nicey nice this time, but I did call you nice. I was respectful, but I never hid that I wanted you all stopped. I don't trust your boss. I don't really trust you because of your views on children, he says. And this kind of language is why you stay banned, though. But, you know, that's fair. It's fair. I love you. You love me. And let's stay apart. Because that's better. Cute, wanting to drink what Trayvon was wanting. But I mean the alcohol, I think he's saying. What kind of alcohol? Oh, that would. I see Gregatron's taxes ran out. Get out the sunken place. Is Little Caesars by Jolly be gone? By the Jolly be gone? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't catch the reference. There's got to be a Little Caesars around here somewhere. But I don't, I was thinking about it. I don't even eat pizza like once a month even. Sometimes I'll eat it like once a week in some little stretches. But it's rarely have I ever had Little Caesars, honestly. Mainly at Grandma's house. The two with the long thing, takeout. Before they had the hot and readies, actually. Predates. I actually think Robert stalks you, and that's coming from the enemy at Bond. To Alex, if the whites disappeared, it would stink. He didn't say stink. If any race disappeared, it would be horrible. That's nice. That's nice of you to say. See? The world is for all races, but you all just want blacks eliminated. See? He's projecting something that's not true about any of us. And first he calls you Hakey Bear, then he invites you on a date. Go for it, James. Just wear seatbelts. Judging from your weight loss, it seems like you might not. Like the gym for the showers and jacuzzis? At which gym, Flex? Anyways, I got one more super chat left within me, so I have to make it good. Thank you, Little Rock. I wonder if this is amusing to anybody other than me. But thank you. Much appreciated. Much obliged. Double check over here. I'm live on, let's see. I'm live on Rumble. See the Rumble crew chatting away, as well as D-Live, the D-Live crew supporting. Look at all these. Misty, MX Murderer. That might have been from yesterday. Let's see. Oh, yeah. One more from Little Rocket Man and Seasal and Yenrik Yagoda and another from Yenrik. And, nice. Okay, so a few more super chats yet. Yenrik, hello, Hake. I often hear liberals who are immigrants. I often hear from liberals that immigrants are hard workers. I believe this stereotype was created by corporations to justify immigration. Indeed. The lines are full, guys. Hang tight. I believe, yeah, big time. Because I noticed that the Mexicans, they show up to work, mostly. Some of them work, but this work hard, it's propaganda. Yeah. I work part-time at a grocery store chain in LA County or Louisiana County or somewhere, says Yenrik. I suppose I can't say the name, but its name is synonymous with better. It's common that at the location I work at for the illegals to work off the clock, quote unquote. In fact, I used to work at a fast food chain and the short illegal lady always worked off the clock. What does that mean? Off the clock. Jose is hired over John not because of the quality of his work, but because he works off the clock. If he gets injured, there's another Juan in line to replace him. Okay. So off the clock means like basically kind of under the table. They're not officially a thing. They get paid cash, and then they don't get the taxes taken out or something, or they don't have to pay workman's comp, or I don't know. Interesting. Yenrik Yagoda. Hey, liberals always say immigrants commit less crimes than native-born Americans, but native-born Americans includes Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, meaning the American Indians. I know, Yenrik, they're including the anchor babies, and the anchor babies are often worse criminals than the immigrant parents, who are often humble and quiet, or not that humble, actually, just play humble, so that they can fly under the radar. And they may be committing crimes too, they're just better at not getting caught. Si Saladito. Hake, I found the coolest Christian song, Laughing Face with Tears Sideways in a celebration, white hands. If you could listen to it and play it if you want. And she gives me the name of the song and the gal who sang it, I believe. It's a gal. If it's Christian, it can't be a transgender, I don't think. Are there transgender Christians? Confused gals? People? Also, do you know what albondigas are? Aren't those meatballs? I think so. Pretty sure. Yeah. Watch, if I click on the button. Yep. Nice. Meatballs. Right on, Seasal. Thank you for the tip. I shall check that out if I remember. Thank you for the coffee. And even if I don't remember, hopefully I'll see that. Little Rock, man, 2 more coffees. Cool. It's pithy, but it's the last. Well, Jamie Antoine Hake, today is my promised last day. Wear dark-toned shirts. What I've learned these last 2 years from you all is that has it been 2 years? It is that you all choose ignorance. You choose not to be true Christians, but hypocrites. The Bond Network is more entertaining than Fox News. Faux news! Shout out. I like Fox News. I'll give you that. Instead of dismissing people like Maze, Freddie, Joe, John, Tony, Earl, Steven, T, Dr. Detroit, Jason from Buffalo, Jeremiah, and myself, think about why we have chosen to call you, to challenge your insight. It's not out of malice, but you specifically have encouraged hatred and wrongdoings. Your best callers are the enemies that are enemies are Mark, Jeff, Terry, the quote-unquote men, are at least are real to actually disagree with you at times with their racism. And Terry doesn't bow down. Nor should she. Art is just lost. William bores me. Rick just shucks and jives. Thank you mainly to you and Joelle for the times of expression, as well as Sean and Derek. Sean being the prior producer, Irish. I miss Tell All. So for the last time, dislike the video. Baha, man. P.S. James, me as a black guy outsmarted you. Hacked the system with super chats. But alas, for the final time, I've said it like 20 times, but this is my goodbye. Maybe you'll send me my last mug and my cameo. Well, the mug? Oh, if you ordered by Teespring, I'm sorry. I'm glad to have been the happy representative. Right? Happy. That word means happy, right? Your community enhanced my happiness. Thank you. Fare thee well. Graduate. Right on. Hope you're satisfied. Okay, Alex in California is on the line over here. Alex, are you there?
Hey, we'll zip through because I want other people to respond to this. I liked Ronnie's response, but he kind of wiggled out of it.
Yeah.
I think that was a great question, though. I am going to ask my Australian friend what he thinks would happen if all the non-whites disappeared.
Yeah.
But let's get a little more specific with it, just because Ronnie was able to wiggle out. No protected resources. We're going to call this a white rapture. Okay, so in the blink of an eye, white's gone.
Yeah.
Everything is as it is at Tuesday, 3 p.m. Let's say Tesla, Walmart, and the banks. All the keys are there. Passwords are there. Everything's sitting. What happens?
Interesting question, man. I think that it goes crazy. I mean, look at South Africa. It's obvious. Zimbabwe.
But that's what I don't want them to wiggle out and be like, oh, what if all the black people and brown people.
Look at the South American countries, Central and South American. They're leaving for a reason. It's not like they're different people leaving. Not necessarily.
But yeah, I want one of them to answer. Like, keys are there, passwords are there. In a blink of an eye, white people are gone.
Yeah.
What happened? You know what I mean? Take it from there. A real emergency situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do appreciate him replying. Question: does my phone sound better today when I'm speaking?
It does sound better. There's no like harsh clicks or anything.
The scratchy yes.
Nope. By and large, that's clean.
Okay, I'm trying something different, and hopefully this works a little better.
I appreciate that, and I saw your comment about that, and nice.
Yeah, I'm a stickler because I'm a sound guy, so it's unacceptable to me.
Yep, definitely. Right on.
All right, well, yeah, let's get some blacks to answer what happens. Tesla, Walmart, banks, keys are there, passwords there. What happens?
That sounds great, man. Thank you, sir.
All right, you have a good one.
You too. Bye. Beautiful Maze in the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio. My favorite caller. How you doing, Maze?
Hello, James. How are you?
I'm fine. Did I hear you laughing?
What?
Why I hear you laughing?
Because it's funny.
What's funny?
If they were all gone,
yeah,
it looked like they're disappearing anyway, and the population is getting so bright and uninformed.
Isn't that sad? I don't know if it's sad, but isn't that a shame? Shame on.
If you left, you know what would happen?
What?
There would be no more envy.
Whites are the source of envy?
Keep other people from surviving. We'll survive.
And you will not be envious.
We need Walmart. And just like South Africa, doing good now.
And blacks will not envy each other?
I'm not talking about blacks. I'm talking about, you said if Caucasian left.
If whites left, there would be no envy, no more envy.
Wednesday.
Because the whites would not be successful for the people to be envious of their success, or what? What do you mean no more envy?
It wouldn't be anymore. But you won't have to try to erase people's history. That's what you're doing. If you erase people's history, you don't know what they could do because you don't know about the history of what they have done and can do. That's where you left off at it. So anyway, but Susan Rice's husband is white, so I want Mark to know that. If she hated Caucasian men...
Oh, Susan Rice, yeah.
Yes, her husband is somebody that Mark hates.
Well, you're often attracted to what you hate.
I'm going to tell you about the fear you got. You see, when Obama became president...
You know me, I'm attracted to all the gals.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. When Obama became president,
yeah.
he had a fit.
I did indeed. Especially when he got reelected. When he got reelected, I got a speeding ticket. I shouldn't have doxed that.
Like y'all want him back because you talk about him all the time.
That's funny.
The man been gone,
maybe.
Every conversation y'all have, it's got to be either Obama,
right,
Biden, somebody that in the past administration.
Remember when Obama, all he ever did was blame Bush? I don't know if the Zoomers know this, but
what doing now?
Yeah, all he ever did was blame Bush. Blame Bush. Blame Bush.
What is the one that y'all have as president now? What is he doing? As of yesterday,
he's doing great.
Biden. But see, if Trump was another person, if it wasn't Trump,
yep,
and it was someone else doing this, what would y'all be thinking about doing? Would you like it or love it or would you hate it?
I would hate it if it weren't Trump for president. As
the laws shouldn't work now.
Say again?
If you don't want no laws, you don't want nothing. You just want to be out here running loose like the North and the South.
No, we want to enforce the laws on the books. We want to enforce the law unrestricted by these lame-o judges and the lawsuits. But
they're all on the book.
Alas, we have these lame-o judges and lawsuits. We knew that it was coming.
Without, I'm going to put it like this, without black people, I don't think y'all could survive. I want him to think it that way. I don't think you can survive without us.
I can't survive without that song, I Will Survive.
Can't survive
it's a beautiful song, I Will Survive.
It goes like that because people that take care of you, you can't survive without them. So we take care of you. And we know how you go, how you think and what you do. Because guess what? We raised you.
Not me.
If you knew your history, you would know something to ask a bright question like that to black people.
Yeah.
I don't think so. So with that, we are going to be here. The biracial ones.
You're living in the past.
And the Caucasian ones. There are no biracial people around
here. Joel Friday is.
Joel Friday is not biracial.
Yeah, huh?
What?
He is white and black.
Really?
Uh-huh.
He said he was Cajun.
Say that again?
He said he was
Cajun? Yeah, Creole. Creole is mixed. Creole is
what if you Native American? You biracial?
American Indian? Yeah, so maybe he's triracial.
But anyway, James, so don't ask a dumb question. If you don't know history, I would expect for a dumb question like that to come out of somebody's mouth.
So if the whites left, there would be no envy and there would be peace in America.
Yes.
Wow. And what about it? What about if?
They cannot survive without us.
Okay, so if the POCs left, the whites could not survive.
It had nothing to do with Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. That's all y'all can name. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, everybody you hate. That's all you can come out your mouth with.
Well, I mean, I mentioned them because Al Sharpton. It's like ridiculous, isn't it? Isn't it ridiculous that he's taken seriously at all by anybody?
So those are the ones that don't, just like Joe Osteen is taken seriously too, isn't he? To some people.
Right, and isn't that ridiculous?
Well, it's ridiculous to the ones that don't fool with him, but those that fool with him, I guess, is a happy thing for him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about Joel Osteen. I don't know how much of a evil person. Osteen isn't causing a whole lot of mess that I'm aware of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But anyway,
he's not like a troublemaker. He's a troublemaker in that he's overly nice and smiley.
His troubles are a sponge, like you say. Our troubles are a sponge. Don't nobody know nothing about them. They don't need to know. Let's keep it under the rug. But everybody else is got that to look at.
Right.
That's the way y'all do it. So the truth hurts. I can't help you. So
no, the truth is actually a relief, Maze. It's not. It doesn't hurt.
That's what I'm trying to say. Y'all haven't figured it out yet. So when y'all going to get y'all relief?
The truth is, you don't have to be worried about all this stuff.
People like Mark just let it go to him in the community about himself.
Yeah, let go.
There's nothing stopping him to go to a place where only people look like him.
But what if he loves L.A.?
Well, if he loves L.A., I'm quite sure in L.A. there's some people that feel the same way he does.
Nice.
And you didn't hear Ronnie in that spewing out hatred and this and that. Ronnie knows his history. Y'all don't know y'all history.
Ronnie agrees with you that it would be interesting seeing the whites fare without the POCs, but the POCs would thrive without the whites.
They sure would. They have before, and they can do it.
I wonder how Ronnie feels about Mays agreeing with him.
What?
I wonder how he feels about Mays agreeing with
because you know because your babysitters don't look like you.
Isn't that a vulgar statement, Golden Rule?
Now that Hispanic people babysitting now. You know who used to babysit?
I have never been babysat by a black or Hispanic.
Like Mark age and stuff.
I have only ever been babysat by Italians.
What you say?
Only Italians have ever babysat me.
Like I said, you're fighting over
Italians and
Spain and Russia is fighting each
family.
other. They are Caucasians, aren't they? But
What?
you want to turn around and talk about Africa? People over there stealing Africa's resources. They used to be, but they can't.
As
steal them
we
anymore.
should.
So steal the people's stuff and then turn around and turn on them and make it seem like it was their fault.
Why don't they try to steal America's stuff? Oh, that's right, they are.
They don't need America's stuff.
But they are stealing our stuff.
Robinson was stealing diamonds and stuff from over there.
They're stealing our stuff.
So
and calling it equality.
They left Africa's resources alone. Those people will be some rich people with their own resources and not somebody coming stealing them and take them to some other country and selling them.
That's right.
So learn your history first before you get out and start running your mouth.
No, I don't want to.
Because if you don't know it, you're going to be stuck just like Mark. And Mark is trying to...
Mark knows more history than you and I combined.
Mark, if you think like Mark, something wrong with you. I'm put it that way.
Well, call something wrong with me because I think like Mark.
And that's the right fault and not Joe Biden's fault.
Yeah.
The fault is the person that's sitting in the White House now. So whatever, and the jobs are coming back anyway. I don't know why y'all.
I'm told Ronnie doesn't actually know history. He knows some history though. He knows quite a bit of facts. It's like interesting.
He knows more than others that I listen to.
Yeah, I mean he has this propaganda about whites thought that they were superior and there was. I don't know if he thinks that there was a good reason for the whites to be thinking that way, but I think the whites were wiser than us back in the day than we are today.
Do you know what superior look like, James?
Superior looks like the Rhodesian Ridgeback. That's superior.
Down to the Pope, right?
The Pope?
Yes.
What about him?
They bow down to him.
Oh, that's not good.
It's his garment and all this stuff. Did you know there was a black Pope?
No.
Once upon a time, yes.
Was he a good
That's
Pope?
Why you learn your history.
Was he a good Pope?
Things. If you want to walk around dumb, you're gonna stay dumb.
Was he a good Pope? And do you agree with having a Pope?
But no, I'm not Catholic.
Okay, so you don't agree with having a Pope. Was he a good Pope?
I don't care if they got a Pope. They got a Pope.
Right, but you don't care about the Pope. But was he a good Pope?
Not supposed to care?
No, you don't have to. I don't care. I don't care about the Pope. I love him as I love everybody, but I don't care about the Pope.
Some of them don't like the priest because the priest did evil things. So
right.
People don't like that reason.
No, I'm not one of those people who complains about the Catholic Church. I think any organization that's big is going to get corrupted and all kinds of shady things happening.
Any organization that's doing right in God's sight is okay with me.
Nice. So you love Bond.
What?
You're okay with Bond.
Bond is funny.
Nice. Thank you. Funny because it's true.
Because I say, watch the people that change the diapers. Since you think that if you left off the earth and pooped away tomorrow, we still will survive.
Oh, what a mess. Well, whites are not making babies, so we don't have to worry about the baby diapers.
What?
I'm making a joke about whites not making babies, and it's not funny.
Learn your history and learn who took care of you when you were growing up, and some of them know, and some of them don't.
But that's what I'm talking about. You're living in the past. Most Americans were never raised by blacks. I dare say. Most white Americans today were never raised by blacks. You're living in the past. Yes.
You lie.
In my generation, do you think how many millennial whites were raised by blacks? Press 1 in the chat. If you're a millennial white or a Zoomer white raised by blacks, please. You're living in generations long forgotten.
They're raised by Hispanics now, because they get
right. Many Hispanics do that. Yeah, you're right.
That's why I say they switched it up. You do that listening. So
nice.
Get in your head, slow. Wake up. We'll still survive. There's no Walmart. The only thing you can name. But anyway, have a good one and learn your history. You'll be a better person, and your heart will be clear. And it's your problem. Hatred is your problem because you created it, and that's what you got to deal with.
All right.
It was created by a black man.
Yeah.
Or a woman. So stop talking about Al and Obama, because I'm like, they want this man back the way they talk about him. Like, please come back, Obama. We miss you. Never had nothing good to say about him, but then you want to turn around and talk about everybody else. And then a lot of...
I got to run, Maze.
We have laws now. Tell Mark to go get himself together.
Himself.
It's hard, too. And the Wicker. Have a good one.
You too. Bye. She slipped and said the word that I asked her not to say. I'm seeing a lot of ones Oh, no, a lot of 2s. One person who I suspect may be black put 1, and, but they're black. A couple of them put 1s, and they're black, and they're not white. Raised by blacks. Shout out. Yeah, I do know that there's a lot of Hispanic nannies because that shows sort of a decline because these white gals and gals in general want to work or think that they have to work. I shake my head. Whew. There is one line open. Let me make sure that I set the redirect to Joel Friday TV, who's coming up next, everybody. Can you believe it's Wednesday? Joel Friday TV. Beauty is Fleeting is his upcoming little show there. Little in terms of duration, not in but it packs a punch. Okay? Everybody wants 2 hours of Joel Friday. And I get it. I get it. You know, you want to see some drama? Real quick. They're dying. It's a die-in.
We stand here, resolute in our defiance of an administration that has chosen cruelty over care, ideology over evidence, and erasure over equity.
The drama. How did that happen? I put the call-in number inadvertently. I don't need to have the call-in number.
But make no mistake, we will not be erased.
These blacks. Shout out to this black dude. This is from far left extremist. You see this? I'm pointing. Human rights campaign. No such thing as a human rights. As a communist buzzword. And it's a gay agenda that they're pushing. It says, can't erase us. LGBTIQ, Black Lives Matter. BLM. And these people holding signs, being melodramatic. Talking about we staged a die-in to protest Trump's health care cuts. And so this man with a t-shirt and a blazer and fancy-dancy braids, glasses, and a beard, reading from his phone his little bullhorn speech.
We are your neighbors. We are your children's teachers. We
Sounds like a threat.
are your caretakers. We are the people who held your hands when no one else would. And when you lose us, you don't gain anything.
Good control of the feedback.
To attempt suicide than their peers. LGBTQ youth.
Listen to this.
LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than their peers.
And so don't be that. Don't be identifying with that mess. It's bad for you. It's bad for your mind.
And when those lifelines disappear, the school count.
Look at them. They're falling one by one. We're looking at I don't know where this is, but it's in front of a building, and there's people holding signs, and then they're laying down on the ground. It's not floor. On the ground. They're good at drama, I guess. To be honest, this is not the best. This is not the most effective. Granted, I'm not allowing you to soak in the full effect for the sake of time. And, we know how this is. But I saw this on somebody shared it on X. I'm like, let me find it. Oh, look, it's gotten 600 views. Before that, it was like 400 or 500 something. Human Rights Campaign hosted a die-in in front of the Department of Health and Human Services. They're obsessed with death. To protest our greatest president's administration's dangerous cuts to the so-called health and human services programs. So this is one of those things that I mentioned that Trump is cutting out because you're not supposed to enable mess. And that's what this is enabling. And you heard Ronnie agrees with me on those cuts. These cuts target programs and research on a wide variety of social and public health issues. Public health, the communist buzzword, including STIs, which is the new word for STDs. Terrible. Sorry, kids, cover your ears. So-called mental health, which is a misnomer, mental health, because it's not getting to the root of the issue. It's a spiritual issue. They want to pretend it's just chemicals. And suicide prevention, gender-affirming care, that euphemism calling something that it's not. Cancer prevention, elder care, substance use, and harm reduction, because disproportionately those people are on drugs. It's not good. Disproportionate party animals. Shout out. Homelessness. They're disproportionately homeless, violent, and they get violence toward them. There are people who hate them. There are people who hate them. Mostly it's like POCs and fellow quote-unquote poor people. Deadly consequences for the LGBTQ+, so-called community, which it's not a community at all, or else it would be self-sufficient. They would be self-sufficient. Some of them are. They're like rich. Well, they do. I don't know. Propped up, definitely. What a mess. But shout out, you misguided people. It's terrible. 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 Another quick victim-minded thing. This black gal got drunk, allegedly, fell off a balcony, allegedly, and died, allegedly, in 2018, and they're still crying about it. They made a whole documentary or movie thing about it out on, like, some Netflix or something. She had other drugs in her system, too, of course, at an otherwise all-white party. This is a post in response to the post above. References the 28th death of Tamla Horsford, black woman, capital B, kiss up, found dead, lost her life in a backyard after a party in Forsyth County, Georgia. Initially ruled an accidental fall, and for some reason it says despite a 0.238 blood alcohol level, which is quite high. You're supposed to have 0.08 or 0.008, I forget, but 0.238, that's quite high. Weed and Xanax in her system, which can be a lethal combination alone, according to Healthline 2021. Replies to the post highlight suspicions of a cover-up. These blacks always in their imaginations. Shout out. Noting racial bias in the investigation. Forsyth County history of racial tension. 85% white population. That's not that high, but it's not that low. Per people 2025 may have contributed to inadequate scrutiny echoing of missing white woman syndrome disparity in media attention per Wikipedia 2025. Commenters expressed frustration over the lack of charges drawing parallels to historical injustices like Emmett Till's case, where a white woman's supposedly false testimony, it's never proven false, and she never admitted it to that being false. That was a lie. That was a assumption. Led to a lynching, later admitted decades later, per Far Left Guardian, which is not even American, 2017, themselves not a reliable source, fueling distrust of the justice system for this Tamla Horsford. What's her name? Horsford. But look at this sleepover, this degenerate sleepover thing, these white gals with not necessarily natural blonde hair and a black gal. They're all in their, like, jammies. Looks degenerate. Nice house, though. But there was, like, basically a house party. And this person, Black Lives Matter agitator, not necessarily morally straight, Zelly, says this case still haunts me to this day, so claims he. And they're like, oh, thank you for sharing this. 40-year-old black mother of 5. Partying, getting drunk, that drunk? What in the world? Hey, we don't judge. But it's not right. It's dangerous. And they think that they think the white women killed her. Oh, man. The melodrama. They're trying to focus on different aspects of this photograph, this group picture. Terrible. So, mess going on in the world. And literally, they made a whole documentary about it, trying to make it all dramatic. I would show you, but I don't have time. Maybe another day. But living in their heads, in their imaginations. You know it. Hake and his judgment. Oh, I'm hecka judging. Si Saladito says. Oh, she's judging. Oh, we know. Tamla Horsford? Something like that? Something like that. Horsford. Drama. 7 years later. And the die-in. HRC. Joelle Friday TV coming up, guys. And I don't have too much time, so I would like to do justice to the callers here. Sean in Florida is on the line here. Sean, thank you for calling and holding.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Okay, I had something that I was going to say, but you got something more interesting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I want to ask, when you were saying about the white race family, Caucasian, if they leave, is it because of what is deemed they're doing to the black people?
No, not necessarily. He was just making a theoretical how, if it weren't for the whites, how would they be running society, basically. It wasn't just if whites left because they're sick of the blacks or they're sick of the POCs or whatever. It wasn't necessarily anything to do with that.
How would society be?
Yeah, how would society be run by the rest?
I disagree. I don't think it would make a difference if the white race family left. It wouldn't make a difference one bit to better society for the black race family. Because I live in Florida, I've had the opportunity to have a front row seat on how other cultures and how other races deem the black man. If you get rid of the white race family, you better get rid of the Asian shopkeeper. You better, because I walked in on situations where his customer is the black. His economy is affected by the black shopper.
Stay close to your phone so you come through as clearly as possible. Speak into the receiver.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I walked in on, where you would put it towards a Caucasian person doing what I've seen an Asian person do to.
This is worse. We go back to your regular phone. It's coming in kind of rough.
Okay, how about now?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so then you better get rid of the India man.
Yeah, all those people are doing business among the blacks, and
right.
I think they are generally a net positive for the blacks.
And the thing is, and I'm not saying anything negative about any of these. I'm just saying what truthfully happened. Me living in Florida, and I'm accessing multi-cultures and races that come into Florida. I've seen black people doing black people that way. I've stood in a line where a black person was in argument with another black person that worked in but they were different cultures. And I heard one of the coaches say, "You people."
Right.
You people. So that's been scooped on only the Caucasian white race family that is doing that. So if I had never experienced that, and see that this is happening, I really experienced this mostly from different cultures and races. Other than I know that it can exist from the white race family too, but I had the opportunity to experience that. You know what I'm saying? From other cultures. So it can't be. It's a false narrative. It is, and I've heard from the past, like you say, this is a different day and time from sometimes the mindset of people in the past. But I've heard footage and saw footage of very strong, outspoken, civil rights strong voice individuals who passed on now, saying that black and white narrative never goes away, and they were speaking about it from their time to in their time that they lived. You know what I mean? But it's a false narrative. You know what I mean? That it's only black and white and black. It's everybody. It's every man.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're just pumped up by black and white. For some reason, this benefits the system. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm not saying that those things don't exist.
It's definitely ill-gotten gain for many people, for many in the system, as you call it. Definitely.
Yes. So that's what.
Yeah.
So
it's a shame.
I did. That was my saying when I was experiencing those things. Will a real white man stand up? That was my personal thing to me because of what I was experiencing with different, cultures and seeing different and black on black, prejudice, discrimination.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I know that in the islands too, the Dominicans don't like the Haitians in the sense of now they're both black cultures, but blacks, but different cultures.
True.
I got to see that.
And they're on the same. Aren't they on the same island?
Yeah, same island.
Yeah.
Really.
Shout out to the Dominicans. You can have your issues with the Dominicans, but I'll take the Dominicans over the Haitians in terms of their civilization functioning better. Yeah.
Right. And but one more thing about the money, I was going to ask you about I know there's like the tariffs and taxes being imposed now.
Yeah.
And I never heard there's commercials saying it without saying it about the U.S. American dollar. And I've never heard so much about different currencies. The rand. I know what the peso is. That's pretty general. We know that. But the rand, Bitcoin, crypto, euro. So these things are being put forth now. And the value of the American dollar, I think, is being kind of like slowly being put to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's on decline by and large over the past several decades, honestly.
And I don't know where this commercial was. Well, it wasn't a commercial. It was the guy he feeds the homeless, and he does things like give money to the for little challenges, kindness challenges. And the young lady behind, he was in a restaurant, and he said, I only have $2 for this. He's testing her, see if she would help him. And she said, I don't know if we take that. And this was, but I think it was from Canada. I think he's in Canada.
Oh.
And she was talking about he was talking about $2. And another thing beyond that, another one where someone was in a restaurant or something like that, the value of it, it was like the $2 was depreciated to $1.50, along with something else. So I don't know if that's
I believe it. I the value of the dollar goes up and down, and it gets better or worse than the euros and the Canadian dollar. I don't know if it's ever worse than the Canadian dollar, but it's it fluctuates with the perceived value that we bring in the world. And so hopefully Trump gets things on track again.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
We don't go down to thousands. You know how the different cultures, they have $1,000 and it's only worth like $3.
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
I heard in Jamaica they have to call every day to see how much the money is worth when they get to the market. So I hope that.
What a complicated life.
Yep.
I shake my head.
All right.
Thank you, Sean.
Okay, exactly.
All right, bye. Nice. Ken in Illinois. Man, he's been on hold forever. Ken, thanks for calling, man. And thanks for holding.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I mean, I'm like, wow, I've been on for a while, but, I'm going to make it quick.
Formerly known as Keith, by the way. Also formerly known as Keith. It's Ken.
Yeah.
Good to hear from you.
What's that lady, that country-sounding black lady? It sounds like she just left the cotton fields. What's her name?
Sean just now? Sean in Florida?
No, the ladies always talk crazy.
Oh, Mays, beautiful Mays in Dayton,
yeah.
Ohio.
I could not believe she said, raise y'all babies. I'm like, what is she talking about?
Talk about living in the 50s or 40s, 30s.
Well, listen to me. My mother worked in a factory, okay? My aunts worked in factories. I'm 67 years old. My great-grandmother didn't raise no white babies. What should be watching these movies and believing that hype, that old liberal crazy stuff? Raise y'all babies. What is that talk, man? And number two, that guy was right. If white people left,
yep.
And you left, here's the bank, everything y'all want. Most black people be dead in a year. Let me explain why. Nobody would run the water plant. So nobody would do it because everybody would think they were rich. Nobody would grow any food.
Flint, Michigan.
Okay, number two, there would be no diabetes medication. Nobody would go nowhere in no pharmacies, run no pharmacy.
Wow.
Okay, there would be no high blood pressure medication. Okay, there would be no antibiotics. There would be no nothing because everybody would think that black people think they was all too rich to do any work.
True.
So they all would die anyway.
Yeah, man.
And that's the truth. It's like I'm not trying to talk bad about them.
Right.
It's the truth. I live in an urban area. Most people around here are either totally obese, morbidly obese.
Yeah.
Or just skinny. They don't know how to fish. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to fix cars.
Terrible.
They don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? They don't. Then we would have no air conditioning. We would have no heating. We would have nobody would be plumbers. It would just be total devastation in a year. Mostly all black people would die in a year because everybody would think they're rich and they have no survival skills. I know.
Good
I live
point.
amongst them.
Wow. You know what? I have to.
I see them. Listen to me. I see these great grandmothers walking around the store. There would be no oxygen tanks. There would be no hospitals. There would be no doctors.
Point taken, man. I have to hurry things along, Ken, because I want to try to get to all the calls, and so I'm going to do abbreviated calls with you guys. But I got you, man.
You understand what I was saying?
I totally do.
I want everybody to hear me. Tell that guy he was 100% right. If you left the bank open and all that, black people be dead in a year, mostly all of them, because nobody would do anything. There would be no hospitals, no mechanics, no heating, no cooling, no air, no water, no food, no absolutely
It's
nothing.
a mess. Thank you, Ken.
It would be over with. Okay, all right, buddy.
All right, appreciate you. Bye. Oh, man, he got me with the click. He got me so bad I jumped. Did you see me jump? And I closed my tab. Anyway, Cesar, 3 coffees, according to AI, which is liberal, out of 60 to 70 countries that are run by black or dark-skinned people, including Hispanics, Arabs, etc., 40 to 50 face corruption issues. Out of 80 to 90 countries run by white or light-skinned people, 8 to 18 face corruption issues. We would be doomed if blacks ran this country, says Cesar with his 3 coffees. Yeah, that is an interesting thing. There's like a culture of corruption that afflicts many of these nations. And they come in here and they bring their corruption and they project their corruption on us as though we're as corrupt as them, and we're not necessarily that corrupt as them. But some of us are becoming that way, but it's not right. Great point, Cesar, with your coffee. Thank you kindly. And with that, I got to get to Karen in New York on the line here. Karen, you are live with Hake.
Hi. Yay, I'm talking to Hake. What's up, Hake?
Hey, nice to hear from you.
It's good to hear from me, right? Yeah, but you don't respond to my emails. But
I know.
I have a question for you.
I don't see all of them, but I see some of them. And I mentioned that rabid dog whom the young man had to kill. It's disturbing, but necessary. I
have a question for you.
All right.
Do you love black people?
Yeah.
Do you love me?
I do.
Okay, so when we going out?
Oh, not like that.
Oh.
You're in New York. You're not local. I only go out with local
email
gals.
Email me your address. I'm on my way.
That's funny. You love me like that?
You can come live with me.
I thought you liked
I live in the Bronx. I like men, but
nice.
I'll take you.
That's funny. I'm second choice.
I I asked you yesterday in chat if you like brown skinned women, and you said no.
I didn't say no. I said I do.
No, you said no because some white girl liked you when you was in high school.
No, that was not a white girl. She was. It was
a Mexican.
Yeah, Mexican, and the Mexicans tend to be not that light skinned.
Okay.
But that's not. That's not to say I think that that's right. She liked me first, and so she like that put the idea in my head, and then when you get an idea in your head, you start to like them back, and it's potentially a mess. So
it sounds like you still like her.
No, I'm over her. She's married and has children now. She's ancient history. No,
okay, so me and you going to get together then?
No. Are you trolling me? Are you messing with me?
Yes, like always.
Nice.
I'm only in chat to disrupt you and to annoy you.
I like women and you like men, so shout out to us. Appreciate it.
Would you get with me even though I'm brown skinned?
I don't think I would. I would hope that I would not fall for that.
Yeah, because I know you say you think like Mark, and Mark think that black should stay with black and white should stay with white, but I don't agree with that.
I sort of agree with it. I have had crushes on different races before, of course, and dated them and stuff. And it's not like I agree with it. I used to think it wasn't a big deal, and it's probably still not a big deal. I don't want to like force because really, it's all about we're at root. It's just
about
it's like a selfish desire, and so there's nothing necessarily good about it, or whatever the race. But I think it's better to keep a distance. In
man, I am rejected. That is so messed up. I'll need me a white man out here.
I like your accent, though.
You like my accent?
Yep.
I like your voice.
Nice.
I like your hands and your back and your feet and your hair. And I don't think you're white. What color would you say you really are? Because
my friends used to criticize white people, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, James, you're not white. You're more red." Or one of my teacher called me more like yellow colored. So I don't know. Anyway.
Remember that caller that used to call in and call you Pink Hank?
Yeah, I used to get so offended.
Did that make you upset?
It did.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I didn't like being called Pink. It's good hearing from you, Karen. I gotta wrap up because Joel Friday's coming in.
Thanks for talking with me. I will stalk you. I'm going to continue to stalk you. Send me your address.
Okay.
Have a blessed day.
You as well.
Bye. I love you.
Bye. Take care. Guys, I got to wrap it up. What a mess. Rick in Hampton, VA, and the rest of the callers. I cannot do it. And I don't really have time, but here goes nothing. Sorry, I'm going to have to fade this out quick. Mary Rice Hopkins for The Graduate. Everybody loves Chicken Lips. It's a children's song. It's Christian.
Chicken lips or elephant feet, gorilla arms or rabbit teeth. But everybody has a funny thing or two, so don't worry if you do.
Sorry, that was off key.
No, worry, you shouldn't do. If you're a kangaroo, well, jump real high. If you're a bird on the loose, come on and fly. You're a cock-a-doodle-doo, rise and shine. Come on and use those chicken lips. Use those chicken lips. Giraffe neck or pigeon toes, hippo ears and teeter nose.
Everybody has a funny thing or two.
So don't worry if you do.
Chicken lips.
No, worry,
Do chickens have lips?
If you're a kangaroo, well, jump real high. If
You're a bird on the loose, come on and fly. You're a cock-a-doodle-doo, rise and shine. Come on and use those chicken lips. Use those chicken lips. Break it down. Whatever. Nice. Oh, I gotta wrap up. Oh my god. Sorry guys, I gotta get out of here. Sorry, Joelle.
You might wish you had curly
Peace.
hair, or less freckles 'cause they're everywhere.
In the Middle East. Sorry, I got carried away. What a mess. Bye.